Hi everybody, I'm back. Everybody, Jeannie Young is back and I'm back with yet another amazing recipe. The holidays are right around the corner and you all are looking for that perfect dessert to put on your dinner table for the holidays. Well, listen here, you are in for a treat because I have an amazing recipe. This recipe does not require a lot of ingredients. It's so easy to put together and it tastes so good. It's kind of like a twist on pineapple upside down cake. Have you all ever seen my video for pineapple upside down cake? If you haven't seen it, feel free to check it out. Here's what you're gonna need to make Jeannie Young style orange upside down cake. You all never had this before, you better make you so. Okay everyone, here are the ingredients. You will need 1 cup of brown sugar, and you want to make sure we pack that brown sugar tightly into your measuring cup, and I'll show you how to do that. You will need real butter, and we're going to use 1 whole stick. Okay, so I'm going to use the super moist Betty Crocker yellow cake mix. I don't know about you all, but when I make a cake, I like to use the box cake mixes. They always turn out perfect every time. They've never let me down, and so that's what I like to use. Now, if you wanted to do yours with homemade cake mix, then absolutely you can. So, my ingredients might call for different ingredients, all depending on what cake mix you purchase. With this box requires 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of oil, and 3 eggs. Now, in replace of the water, I'm not going to use the water. I freshly squeezed 1 cup of orange juice. Of course, you will need fresh oranges. And then I have beautiful cranberries that we're going to fold in as well. These are fresh cranberries, and I've washed them off and I've pat them dry with a paper towel. Make sure your hands are impeccably clean, and let's get started. I hope that you all are having an amazing day today. I hope that you all have amazing, blessed work week as well. Now, the first thing that I want to show you all how to do, because you're going to need to get slices of oranges ready before you start mixing your cake mix together. You want to get oranges that look like this, okay? Just like so, just as if this were a pineapple. So what you can do is you can take a knife. Let's bring the camera over a little bit closer. Awesome. And then you're going to slice down into your orange. You can do thin slices or you can do medium slices like I'm going to do. I like to do kind of medium slices just as if it were a pineapple. And then you just go in and then you take the rind off. And guess what? It's really that simple. It's so simple. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. Now some of you, it's really up to your discretion if you want to do this part. Some of you might want to take this middle out. I just leave the middle in, okay? If you wanted to take it out, you just take a knife or your fingers and just pull it out just like so. Okay, it's really that simple. All right, so I'm going to gather up, and I'm going to do this part off camera. I'm going to gather up a bunch of oranges so that we can have for the top of our cake. And then I'll come back. Okay everyone, so let me show you. Here's what our oranges look like. I'm showing you this one because it's sliced really thin. Now, if you wanted to, you can take a really, really thin sliced orange, just like this one here, and you don't have to take the rind off. If you slice it thin enough, the rind will get nice and candied, and it'll be edible and it will taste delicious. Okay, now you can do that if you want to. I decide to do mine's this way. Okay, so it's really that option. It's up to you. Let's get started making our cake mix. I also have maraschino cherries that can be an option if you'd like to put these on the top of your cake when you put the oranges on. I'm not going to use these today, and the reason why I'm not going to use these is because I'm going to have beautiful color going all throughout my cake because we're going to use cranberries. So I'm going to get that burst of color. We're going to use a 12 by 9 aluminum cake pan. Okay, before we do our cake mix, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how to do the butter and sugar mixture that goes on the bottom of your cake with your orange slices. You want to take 1 stick of butter and you want to get it nice and melty. Melt your butter and then you want to pack in, and I like to use light brown sugar. The reason why I like to use light brown sugar is because if you use the dark brown sugar, it will make your cake much darker on the outside, and I don't want mine to be really dark. Okay, so I like to use a brown sugar that is light. Okay, this is what I mean when I said make sure you pack your sugar nice and tight. Okay, so you measure it out with your 1 cup, and then you just press it just like so until it's nicely packed. And I'm using this so I can catch any leftover brown sugar. We can scoop that back into the bag. So we have 1 cup of brown sugar nicely packed. Next, we're going to take our butter, 1 stick of butter, and we're going to pour it in the bottom of this pan here. Just like so. All right, get it nice and evenly all over the bottom of your cake pan. And then we're going to put the brown sugar in with it. And then we're going to kind of mix everything all together. Make it nice and happy. All right? Anytime you mix brown sugar and butter together, it's going to get happy. It's going to give you good flavor. You hear me? Woo-wee! Oh, my mouth is starting to water already because I know how good this is. That's why. Absolutely, I do. I love this recipe. It's so easy. Get the kids in the kitchen. Show them how easy this is to make. Let them help you slice, and mix things together. And they'll have interest in cooking when they get older. They'll understand what the kitchen is all about. But if you never give them a chance to get their hands in and lick the beaters and, mix things for you, they won't understand cooking when they get older. Let them get their hands in. Let them do this part. They'll love this part. Okay? All right, so now that I have everything well incorporated, you want to make sure that it's even. You don't want to have a big glob of brown sugar that way and none over here, okay? So I'm just going to spread it out nice and evenly, just like so. I want to mix this part down here a little bit more. And then we'll make our cake mix. I highly suggest that you do this part first before you get your cake mix mixed up. That way this part can be done and out the way, All right, beautiful. Okay, spread it out nice and even, just like so. And now those of you that are going to use the maraschino cherries, by all means you can. And then, like I said, with that one where I poked the hole right here, you can just put your cherry right there. All right? Now, I did oil the sides of my pan. You don't need to oil the bottom of your pan because we just put a bunch of butter in the bottom. Nothing's going to stick. All right? So you just want to lightly press it into the brown sugar. Okay? You can do any type of design that you want to do. I just kind of put them in there. Okay? Just like this, in that manner. If you're the person that wants to use the one with the rind, remember to make one really, really thin, and you'll have candied rind that is absolutely amazing. I like to make my oranges fairly thick, as if they were, I know I said this earlier, as if they were a pineapple. That's how I judge how thick I'm going to slice mine. And you can slice them as thin as you want. You can even chop up the oranges. You don't have to worry about slicing them, okay? All right, just like so. In between these little pieces, if you wanted to chop up orange, drain it well, you can put little pieces of orange going through there. You can put your maraschino cherries in these empty spaces. We're just gonna set this aside, make our cake batter, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I wanna start off by cracking my eggs into a separate bowl. And the reason why I like to use a separate bowl is because if you were to get a bad egg, or if you were to get shells into your egg mixture, you won't have to throw all of the cake mix away. You know, you can just chuck this away and start off new. If you were to crack these eggs into your cake mix and you got eggshells or a bad egg, you would have to throw your cake mix away. So just do it this way. We're gonna whisk these up before we put them into our cake mix. Okay, let's go ahead and lightly beat up our eggs. And these are 3 large eggs, room temperature eggs. I find when I use room temperature eggs, it makes for your cake to be nice and fluffy, not right out of the refrigerator. Okay, just like that is just fine. Let's go ahead and start to mix up our cake mix. So then we're going to put our cake mix right into the mixer. This you do not have to use a stand-up mixer to make yours. You don't have to use a handheld mixer either. You can whip this up by hand and it's going to be just as delicious. It will be just as fluffy and light, okay? So don't worry if you don't have one of these. All right, I want to start off putting my eggs in. In replace of the water, I'm just going to say it a second time that I'm using freshly squeezed orange juice, 1 cup. It's going to make this taste absolutely amazing. You know, and that's the same thing I do with my pineapple upside down cake. When I'm making the pineapple upside down cake, I take that leftover juice that's in the can and I use that to mix up my cake, and it makes for an amazing flavored cake. Trust me when I tell you this. So then we're going to put some vanilla in, okay? And then we're going to put that 1/2 cup of oil in that you will need. If you're a person that is not a fan of using the oil, then feel free to use a 1/2 cup of unsweetened applesauce. It will do this. It will do the same thing that the oil will do. Okay? Now let's go ahead and mix this, and we're going to start to mix this on a low speed. Because if you turn it up high right now, all of the flour will go all over your face. So we'll start off slow and then we'll work our way up to a higher speed. Just like this. It smells good already. We just started and it smells so good. All right, I'm working my way up to the speed. I have it on a medium speed. And then I'm going to take the time to scrape down the bottom. You want to scrape the bottom down because you want to make sure that everything is well incorporated. Okay, so I'm going to go in with my rubber spatula. Just make sure I got all that goodness. Make sure everything's nice and worked in. Beautiful. Okay, so we're working our speed up, medium speed. We want to whip some air into the eggs. When you whip air into the eggs, you're going to have a nice, beautiful, fluffy cake. If you haven't already preheated your oven to 350 degrees, make sure you get your oven preheated always. Our cake mix is done. I'm going to let the cake mix drain off of my beater here, and then we're going to pour this lovely mixture into our pan where we made our brown sugar and butter glaze, and we have our beautifully sliced oranges, just like so. Okay, now what I want to do is gently, and I want you all to be gentle when you do this process. Put you some of your cranberries in. I'm going to use between 1/2 cup and 1 cup of cranberries in my mixture. It's going to make it nice and beautiful and give it a great taste as well. You don't need to mix like you're crazy, just a gentle fold, just like this. And you don't need a whole lot. A half a cup will really do you, but if you wanted to use 1 cup, that's fine as well. Okay, let's pour our mixture into our pan. Okay, let's pour our mixture in, just like so. You want to get it nice and even all throughout the pan. You don't want to pour, a whole lot on the left side and not have enough on the right side. Make it nice and even and get all this goodness out of your bowl. You don't want to waste anything. Get it all in there just like this. This was really quick and simple. Now, all of the talking that I'm doing, the editing and the pausing, this video will be much longer than it actually takes, to make this recipe. So don't worry about this. This is just you just whip everything together and voila, you have orange upside down cake. Does not take long at all. This is definitely a recipe you want to have on your dinner table for the holidays. Trust me. Okay, I'm just going to hit this on the counter 2 or 3 times, as I always do. I feel like it takes the air bubbles out. This is going in the oven, 350 degrees, for around about 33 minutes to 40 minutes. When it comes out, I'll let you know exactly how long it took to cook. And you want to put this on on the middle rack, not the bottom rack and not the top rack. Okay, everyone, it has been 35 minutes on 350 degrees, and you can see the 2 marks here where I stuck a butter knife in. Stick the butter knife halfway in, and when you bring it out, it comes out nice and clean. Your cake is done. So what I like to do is we want to take a butter knife and you want to go all along the sides to release the cake from the pan. Okay, and you want to go all the way down until you can feel the bottom of the pan, just like so, because you don't want that caramel to stick your cake to the pan, if that makes any sense. But I always like to do this part where I go around the cake just like so. Don't miss any parts. And then in 5 minutes, we'll come back and we'll flip this over. And what I like to flip mine onto is a cookie sheet. I have a cookie sheet that I've aligned with aluminum foil, and we'll flip it onto there. Okay, and you can see where some of these beautiful cranberries are popping through with that amazing color. That's why I didn't want to use the maraschino cherries, because this is the same color as the maraschino cherries. It's going to be nice and beautiful in the inside. You don't need those maraschino cherries on the top. Okay, I've aligned this cookie sheet here with foil. That's what we're going to flip our cake onto. I want to let this cool for a good 5 to 10 minutes, but no longer. And then we'll set this on top just like so, and then we'll flip it. Be back. Time to flip. It's been 5 minutes. Put this on. Voila! And you pray to the upside down cake gods and it comes off with no problems. Now here's what I like to do. I take a kitchen towel and I've wet it with nice cold water. I always like to do this process. This is the part that you all never get to see. But I figured, why not show you all? If it's a good trick that works, I need to be showing you all. This is nice and cold, and it's going to pull off with no problem. Right onto the cookie sheet, just like so. You better make you some. You all never had this before. You have to try it. It's amazing. It's so tasty. But one thing you're going to want to do for sure, you want to let this rest before you cut down into it. Now you might have some brown sugar in some spaces that you might want to take a spoon, scoop it off before it gets too hard, and just put it where you see that it fell off. Okay, that's something that I always do. If I see it came off, I just put it on there where it fell off, and I just put it right on there, and nobody will never know, right? Only you will know. But this is how it's done. It's so easy. If you all enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you click on that notification bell so you can be notified every time Jeannie Young uploads one of these awesome recipes. Tell your family and friends and everybody you know about Jeannie Young and what I'm doing in this kitchen on a daily basis. We're going to let this cool down for about a half an hour. We're going to come back. We're going to say a beautiful prayer over this cake. We're going to slice down into it and give it a try. We've sliced down into our cake. Look at this. Look just how fluffy. Look how beautiful and moist. Beautiful, right? This is what you want to have on your dinner table for the holidays. This screams fall time. Look at that. Look at that edge. I love that beautiful crispy edge. Oh, Okay, we're going to plate this up. Just like so, I let the cake set for around about 20 minutes. I was going to let it set for a half an hour, but I just couldn't wait that long. I want to show you down in the inside of this cake so you can get an idea of what it looks like. Let's see, try to fix my camera. Look at that. So beautiful, and it was so easy. Nothing about this recipe is hard. You have a little bit of Cool Whip to go on the side. You can eat this with ice cream. You can eat it just by itself. And of course, I'm going to let you all have the first bite. I want you all to let me know what you think about this recipe. Take a bite right there. Oh my word. Listen here. Let's see. Hold on. Because I want to be able to show you all the top of this as well. So beautiful. Look at that. Oh. Taste that right there. Oh, I'm going in, guys. Woo! It's so good. It's so tasty. It comes out perfect every time. If you don't want to use the cranberries, you don't have to. Just gives you a nice, beautiful, color. And a great taste as well. A little bit of that Cool Whip. And as always, God bless you all. Thank you all for watching. Have a great night. Good night. That's good.